How about that? I'm an idiot. I'm literally an idiot. I can't even. I can't even. I literally. Yeah. I just want you guys to know I just had the most fire intro ever in the show's history, and we'll never get to experience it ever. We'll never understand what Gunn said on his intro February 25th, 2020. But just know it was fire, and I'll never have another intro as fire as that one. Oh man. Um. Anyway, I'm in Texas. My internet is perks. Yeah, I hate Spectrum. So, what's the intro song? All right, hold on. Oh, you can hear me now. We're good. All right. What's up, YouTube? What's up, Twitch? It's guys. It's a tough day for me, man. Luis Severino needs Tommy John, and I just my day has not been the same ever since I read that. I never curse. I never curse, but I almost dropped the F bomb when I rolled out of bed today and checked my phone and saw that. Like I did, that would have been. I feel like that would have been justified, but I didn't. Anyway, Damron, Paul, Jose Valadez, Remy, Young C, Ernesto in the YouTube chat. What's up, boys? The intro song is a song called Bones, Bones, by a artist, I guess, by named Clark, Clarx. It's one of those pod safe songs. I went through a bunch of pod safe songs when I started co-streaming on YouTube again. And that one seemed catchy enough, right? What up, Brody? What up, West Coast Gem in the Twitch chat? Donald back there in YouTube says Gun needs to move where they have better internet service in Texas. I hope, like, I wish, I really do. In my house, I literally have two different internet service providers hooked up. We have AT&T and Spectrum. Spectrum, I have a dedicated Spectrum line just for my computer, just for my PlayStation, nothing else. And Spectrum is exponentially faster than AT&T. AT&T I wouldn't be able to live stream on. That's the whole reason I got the Spectrum connection. But we have no other high speed option out here. And relocating, not really an option, I guess, because family and stuff. So I just gotta deal with it. But it's so frustrating. If you guys follow me on Twitter, man, like you guys have probably saw when I rage tweeted Spectrum. I didn't even at them, and they like hit me up. So yesterday sent a guy out. So West Coast said, "Where you been?" I feel like we haven't missed that many streams. We had the All-Star break, then we had Thursday, then we had Friday. Saturday I had a match. I was off the grid. And Monday we had the internet issue. So it's just spring break with a half week, right? Arkansas Whitetail, damn right. Okay, buddy. Yo, imagine have two accounts in chat and talking to yourself. Thoughts? Justin Sports Gun one more time. What's the song? Okay, we got that covered. All right. My man's having a full blown conversation with him. Self. I know it's spring training, but Tebow hit a bomb and Miggy hit a bomb. It's a wow. I missed out on the Tebow. I will literally have to. Is that on Twitter? Can I find this Tim Tebow home run? Because my life needs this right now. Tim Tebow videos, and I'm just gonna Twitter search Tim Tebow videos, and I don't see. Oh, here we go. I see the Titanic treatment. I don't see anything. Let's hear it. Okay, that's terrible. That's terrible. Anyway, good for Tim Tebow, man. I love Tim Tebow. Good for him. Good for him and his bombness. In Texas too. Yeah, YouTube silence Gun again. Are you kidding me? Oh no, it's just me. Okay, pause for the cause. Never. Okay, you guys are on one, man. Crosp Brothers Fishing. Yeah, my bet on the intro, boys. What's the intro song? Man, you guys are really into that. That's three different people asking about that intro song. That's funny. Is Raj here today? I don't know. Let me go check Discord. I don't think so. I was kind of not impromptu. I don't know. He might have been expecting us to go live an hour ago, but that's all right. I could talk way faster solo, and we can knock all of these games out. But man, hopefully you guys did great last night without me. Did all right. I'm sure you guys are like me. We had the Brandon Clark couple minute injury saga to end the night. But once again, man, it's another night where I'm just like really good on FanDuel. And DraftKings, my luck has not been as hot. But over there on FanDuel, I obviously had a tier 1 Joel Embiid. There was no doubter. Had a lot of Bam Adebayo. Who else did I have that was up here at the top? Luka. Luka was actually kind of let down. Dennis Smith Jr. obviously. And then yeah, like I said, Brandon Clark was like my biggest issue here. Kendrick Nunn. But other than that, you know, I feel like it did all right. There's a lot of surprises up there at the top that I didn't have any. We had the surprise late scratch of Russell Westbrook. You guys remember they had the Kobe Memorial yesterday, so there's a couple guys that were flying in. Well, PJ Tucker, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook were flying in from the Kobe Memorial. So everyone just assumed they would fly in, land, and play. But Russell Westbrook did not play. Which obviously, if we knew Russell Westbrook was not going to play before main slate lock, James Harden would have been a much higher priority for us. Had a little bit, but obviously not enough because he was it was a pretty good play. 61 DraftKings points. I think his price was closer to Doncic on DraftKings. Yeah, just 500. On FanDuel, Doncic was sub 10K, and I think Harden was still around 11K. So it was a little bit tougher to kind of make that adjustment. Not even adjustment, but like two different positions. I tried to make a Harden non-Luka line yesterday. I didn't even have any inclination that Westbrook would be out. I just tried to do it. I was like, man, 9,800 for Luka just seems like way too much of a value. So I didn't fade it, right? I had Rubio and Dennis. Man, Rubio was nuts, dog. Rubio was wild. Vucevic and Clark did me in. Yeah, the Clark injury is tough. Vucevic, I didn't have the warm and fuzzies at 9K. And Embiid was, not that much more expensive. So I just locked in Embiid and went with it, man. But hopefully most of you guys made it out alive and you can come back tonight to live another day, fight another day. No time to die. We have West Coast basketball again tonight. It feels like forever since we've had that. Golden State, Lakers, Portland, all on the docket. We got a mid game. We only have one East Coast game at Lock. So hopefully we'll be all right as we try to drink this bang. Rubio revenge was actually nuts. And then Donovan Mitchell has a good game, right? Mike Conley's back, and Donovan Mitchell finally has one. And then if you're like me, Rudy Gobert was like 8K, right? And he did not have a great start. I think I looked up, and he had like a couple of fantasy points in his first 3 minutes, and I was pretty perplexed by that. Anyway, let's go to Fantasy Labs Twitter. Let's see if they posted their 3 p.m. key news to watch. They did. Anthony Davis, probable. Victor Oladipo, questionable. Draymond Green, questionable. Marquise Chris, questionable. Brolo is going to be probable. Bruce Brown, questionable. Patrick McCaw, questionable. So there's that. All right. Let's go ahead and open up the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet, and let's do this. We are going to go solo mode, right? All right, so I'm gonna need your guys' help. If there's some news that drops, please spam it in chat, and I'll do my best to catch it. And make sure I got all my windows open so we can do this, and we'll go for a ride here. Let me get my team trends open. Last couple days, and we're out here. Game number 1 tonight on the docket. The Charlotte Hornets at the Indiana Pacers. Project starting 5 for the Hornets. Devontae Graham, Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges, P.J. Washington, Cody Zeller, taking on Malcolm Brogdon, Victor Oladipo, T.J. Warren, Domantas Sabonis, Miles Turner. Depot just missed that last game against the Raptors. The Pacers came out flat, pretty much got spanked by Toronto. Expect him to bounce back here. They are double-digit home favorites against the Charlotte Hornets. Hornets, of course, a really, really inferior defense to much of the league. I think this is going to be one of those games overall where I don't have a whole lot of interest, but I think because it is the Charlotte Hornets, we have to at least consider front court options on Domantas Sabonis and Miles Turner, who might be a really intriguing click here. The Charlotte Hornets allow the most fantasy points per game to opposing centers. Miles Turner has worked his way down to just 5K. How bad can Miles Turner really be at 5K today? There's no correct answer here pre-flop, but in 2 games against the Hornets, he's averaging 38, DKP. I might assume that maybe Sabonis wasn't in for that to happen. Sabonis DKP by game log versus Hornets last 2 games, and we'll see if that's this season. If so, then maybe there's a 50 and a 34, and that was December and January 6th. So let's go ahead and replace that and put Miles Turner. And if they both played, then I'll tell you what, guys, I'm willing to roll the dice, turn on 5K Miles Turner, and hope that, you know, I can get to 30. 35 and 41 last 2 games. And that was, those 2 games. 36 minutes in that last game, though. That might be a little bit on the aggressive side for this one. But, yeah, he had almost had a double-double. What put him over? 3 blocks put him over? I think 5K for Miles Turner. Opportunity cost too low. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to play him as inconsistent as he is. And his bonus on FanDuel feels a little bit easier to get to at 8,300. Miles Turner also a guy that can get you some blocks on FanDuel. You get that +3 a couple more times. I like that. TJ Warren's intriguing because of the amount of minutes he plays. 6,200 on DraftKings. If I can get mid 30 minutes out of him, I'll take it. I know it says 29 against Toronto. They got smoked by 1,000,000 points. Prior to that, we're looking at 37, 39. I wouldn't really expect to walk away with less than 35 minutes if the game was, within 18, within 20, really. So I'll take it. He's probably just too cheap. I don't understand this price point. I really don't. Last couple games, 33, 27, 52, 48, 15. It just feels like 6,200 is a little bit too cheap. He's averaging 37 fantasy points in 3 games against the Hornets. You can give me TJ Warren, and I'll be happy with that. Victor Oladipo, we still haven't got that strong game from him. I'm willing to wait and see on him for now. Malcolm Brogdon may be more attainable on FanDuel than DraftKings. The Pacers are one of the better teams in the league at full strength when or at guarding the 3 ball. On the season, they are allowing a bottom 10 success rate from downtown. You know, that's the bread and butter for Devontae Graham. When he has those big games, it's double-digit assists, and he's going to sink a bunch of threes. And lately, he hasn't been shooting that well. His month-by-month 3-point success rate has gone from like 50% to mid-30s, and it's just really, really free-falling here. So I know he's under 7K. It's at least tempting, especially after what Kyle Lowry was able to accomplish. He's averaging 42 fantasy points in 3 games against them, but it's not it's not a matchup that I'm in love with. If I faded a 42 at 6,700, maybe I don't feel like I'm losing out on too much here. I probably don't have a whole lot of frontline interest in the Hornets at first peak, and if we have to come back later and kind of sweep back through, maybe I end up with a drop of a Zeller, but probably not, or a Miles Bridges at 35 minutes or something like that. But I think for now, you can give me the wing and bigs for the Pacers. We'll write them down in pencil, and I really got to meditate and think on just how much Miles Turner is too much Miles Turner, because it's the matchup, right? It's just way too good of a matchup at 5K. So I'll probably get stuck on that no matter what, right? See what you guys got in the live YouTube chat, in the live chats before we matriculate on to the next one. Josh Shennick says Charlotte plays so slow. Yeah, this should be an extremely paced down game, a really low total. So I don't want to go overboard here. Probably 2 bottom, 6, 7 teams in pace. We go check out that team stats tab in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet. Charlotte's 3rd slowest, Indiana bottom 10. So yeah, probably one of the slower games on this slate. Lamb is out. Yeah, shout out to Jeremy Lamb. Tore his ACL, and sunk those free throws. He went straight up Kobe Bryant on him. Shout out to him, right? What up, Jim DeVergilio? Man, I don't know if I said that right. What up, Jim? Appreciate you stopping by. Louis R. Thoughts on Aaron or Justin Holiday? So obviously, a minute boost from the absence of Jeremy Lamb can be anticipated. This season so far, Aaron Holiday has been one of the more consistent. Not consistent, but one of the more next man up type of guys for the Pacers to look at. So I don't know that. I don't know. Justin Holiday's 3,800. I probably want 25 DKP in tournaments. Aaron Holiday is 3,700. Same. I probably don't want less than 25 DKP from either. I really don't. Like, I'm not. Was anyone going to play Jeremy Lamb today? Because I wasn't, right? Like, I don't necessarily feel obligated to find his next man up, because Jeremy Lamb probably could have been 4K today, and I don't play him unless Oladipo did, get rolled out or something. And I don't think he is trending out, but I'll open up the depth chart just in case. Unless something drastic happened, I really can't see myself running to one of those guys. I get it. Like, I don't think you're off base for considering it. It makes sense. See, Oladipo back spasms will likely be a game time call. Jeremy Lamb out. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I don't see myself there at the moment. If Oladipo got ruled out, I probably have to come back to that question. If Oladipo got ruled out, I'd probably take a stronger look at Malcolm Brogdon. Like I said, 6K for him on FanDuel feels much more inviting to me than 7K. But for the most part, I don't think I'm obligated to go and target the backup. ACL, meniscus, and fracture. It was tough, right? Glenn, how many minutes do you project for Turner and P? Yeah, okay, buddy. You're not gonna get me, bro. You're not gonna get me, bro. Yo, Dan Run is tripping, dog. Toronto Raptors hosting the Milwaukee Bucks. Next game on the docket. Bucks project starting 5. Eric Bledsoe, Wesley Matthews, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Brook Lopez taking on Kyle Lowry. Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, and Serge Ibaka, a 231.5 total, and a 1.5 point spread in favor of the visiting Milwaukee Bucks. This is huge. You never really see both these teams involved in high total and low spreads, right? You always see the Bucks in high totals and whatnot, but usually these teams are part of deeper spreads, lopsided spreads. So this game is very, very intriguing to me. Obviously, we'll start with Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? One of the biggest issues with playing Giannis Antetokounmpo is the Bucks keep blowing people out, and Giannis comes out and either he fouls out or he plays under 30 minutes. But you can get those games where Giannis can play that 35, 36 minutes. I'm in. He played 36 minutes against Toronto Raptors earlier this season, 77 fantasy points, 11.6K here. So Giannis definitely going to be one of the more sought after studs on the slate based on this matchup, based on this total. I'm a buyer. Chris Middleton at almost 8K. I keep on not playing Middleton, and whether Giannis gets in foul trouble and the game goes to overtime or something like that, Middleton's not putting up bad per game stats here or bad per minute stats here. So if you thought this game stays close, maybe Giannis isn't the only buck to target. Could you get 40 plus out of Chris Middleton? I think it's possible. He got 59 in that OT game against Washington. Last game against Toronto, he put up just 25 DKP, but a pretty decent track record. I would not have nearly as much Middleton as I did Giannis, but he certainly wouldn't be excluded from the player pool, and same with Eric Bledsoe. But my priority here would be Giannis Antetokounmpo. And then on the Raptors, I think the Raptors are extremely stackable here in a fast-paced home game. Kyle Lowry on both sides. I'm looking for the north side of 40 fantasy points. I love the minutes for all the starters. Like, I love teams that give us a high predictive value in minutes projected, minutes played, and I think we get that here. And then Serge Ibaka, 6,600 on FanDuel, 65 on DraftKings. I love. I think, is he still a power forward on FanDuel? The answer is yes. 6,600 for Ibaka at FanDuel. You guys have been watching the streams for the last couple of years. Know that I love Serge Ibaka when he's in fast-paced matchups, and this is a fast-paced matchup. Bucks are going to run one of the fastest paces on the slate. Ibaka has been super, super consistent without Marc Gasol. Last game against the Bucks, he put up over a point per minute in 22 minutes. We give that into 30, 32 minutes here, maybe in a closer game. Serge Ibaka, I'm knocking on the door of maybe a tier 1 right now at that price. I might have that much exposure to Ibaka, but at least start him at a tier 2 for me, at least. And then, like I said, all of the Raptors in play: Siakam, VanVleet, Lowry. I probably have different tiers here. I probably tier 2 Ibaka, probably tier 3 Siakam, and then Lowry. I probably tier 2 Lowry. So probably Lowry and Ibaka versus Giannis is my favorite correlation out of this game. Probably, right? Probably. You guys got any hidden gems in this one? I don't feel like there's any secret plays off either bench. Maybe you got creative with like a DiVincenzo or something like that. But for the most part, I think we're pretty set with the starters. See what you guys got in the live chat before we move on. Josh Yannick says VanVleet birthday. Oh, okay, buddy. Jim says you guys got legal sports betting in your state. Not in my state. We have DFS obviously, but legal sports betting is, man, it's still less than 10 states, right? It's like Jersey. I think Indiana has it. I think I saw Illinois. I don't know if that's active yet, but Illinois I think was on the docket. Obviously Vegas. Am I missing any states? Probably. Lawmaker birthday. Okay, buddy. Giannis didn't get there yesterday. Do you go there again on a back-to-back? Yeah. So the reason Giannis didn't get there is why? Foul trouble, right? You can make the argument that, heck, he's got the freshest legs. 25 minutes while everyone else went to overtime. I'm willing to go back to the well here and hope he doesn't foul out in 25 minutes, So I'm very much willing and able to go back to Giannis on a back-to-back. No craziness with that, right? Like no murmurs about any of the Bucks missing. I feel like I could see a surprise scratch, but this is also like a potential Eastern Conference Finals preview, right? Barnes revenge, yeah. Etuan birthday, okay, buddy. Illinois doesn't have it yet. Okay, I feel like I read that there was a bill in Illinois that was really close to being passed or something like that, but I know, all that stuff takes time, right? My studs are between Joker and AD. What up, ALC? Yo, ALC, I haven't seen that name in forever. Delaware has it too. Okay, all right, yeah. Yeah, I wish. I don't even care. I mean, I guess sports betting's nice. I love sports betting for baseball. I really have a pretty good knack for baseball. So I feel like that's where a big edge is. There's a lot of variance in basketball and NFL that bettors are too stubborn to admit. Man, it's kind of crazy, but there is. New York has it. All right, cool. Oklahoma City Thunder at the Chicago Bulls. Next game on the docket. Project starting five for the Thunder. Chris Paul, SGA, Luke Wentz, Dort, Danilo Gallinari, Stone Cold, Steven Adams. Up against Tomas Satoransky, Zach LaVine, Ryan, Archie Diacono. Oh, Archie! Thaddeus Young, Daniel Gafford. 219's our total. 7.5 point spread in favor of the visiting Oklahoma City Thunder. So kind of like how Miles Turner feels like he's a little too cheap for his matchup. Man, Steven Adams and Danilo Gallinari a little bit too cheap for their matchup. Go pull up that team's DVP chart. Chicago Bulls allowing the second most fantasy points per game to opposing centers, the most fantasy points per game to opposing power forwards. So front court looks really, really juicy here. Gallinari really cheap and attainable on both sides. Steven Adams, I think Steven Adams, you think about a little bit more, right? 6,700 on DraftKings. I want closer to 40. I don't need 40, but I need more than 35 more often than I don't. But Adams just had that huge game against Nikola Jokic, so we know it's in him. Last couple games, 27 minutes, 32, 28, 32 minutes. So you probably get right at that 30-minute threshold, and I would take all of the last 4 games. I really would from Steven Adams. So if I put that trend against Chicago, I'd probably cash in. Ironically, 28 minutes against Chicago earlier this season, 24 DKP. But I still think the matchup is there enough that I would probably start Adams as a tier 3 just to have some exposure to him. And then if I, maybe got really, really creative in long shot tournaments, right? Maybe I'd throw in like a Nerlens Noel or something wild like that. He's 3,300 on DraftKings. We know the Bulls do allow a lot of blocks per game. Noel does have that in his arsenal. So this wouldn't be any like short range stuff. It would just be in a my man got 5 blocks in 16 minutes against San Antonio. So you get what I'm saying, right? It'd be, if I was mass entering 100K to first or something like that, I'd probably have some dabs in Noel. Maybe take a shot on Steven Adams foul trouble or something like that, and Noel picking up the matchup. And also 7.5 point spread, man, leaves the opportunity open. Zach LaVine's 8,900 on DraftKings and FanDuel. Looking for as close to 50 as I can get today. I think he can fall through the claps. What? Oklahoma City Thunder defense is solid. So I can see not a lot of people getting there for him. I will say that the 3-guard approach for the Bulls from a fantasy perspective the last couple games hasn't been the worst. Satoransky, Zach LaVine, and then off the bench, Kobe White. Kobe White's been getting 30 minutes basically since Chris Dunn went down, it feels like. So Kobe White, if you played him off the bench, maybe you 1v1 him and like Dennis Schroeder or something like that. But the minutes played is lovely. 34, 34, 30, 35. And in each of those games outside of the Charlotte game, put up essentially 40 plus fantasy points. So a lot of shot attempts for him, a couple peripherals, enough peripherals to go around. Again, Thunder not my favorite matchup or anything by any stretch of the imagination, but at least the upside is in Kobe White. And I know he had 33 real points his last 2 games, but that Washington performance shows us that, you know, maybe he's not a one-trick pony. He's getting steals. And then he has a couple of rebounds, a couple of assists. So maybe at 5,600, there's enough muscle in him to do well and make a player pull. And then if you wanted to run the other side here, Dennis Schroeder. I would also say that the Bulls had been a team that we have not picked on with guards for the first half of the season. But in the absence of guys like Chris Dunn, I'm willing to start picking on them with some guards. We've seen some solid performance from opposing guards lately. I'll pull up the last couple of guards against the Chicago Bulls. Bradley Beal dropped 70 fantasy points. Devin Booker 44. Bradley Beal a couple games prior to that 47. And those are with real points. Ricky Rubio dropped almost 50 fantasy points. Ish Smith 27 fantasy points in 28 minutes. So you're seeing a solid indication that guards are able to get there lately. Chris Paul, I feel like he's priced right at the edge of comfort, right? I don't feel like I'm getting a great bargain at either price point. I do concede that he can be a fine play at 40 fantasy points. It doesn't win a tournament, doesn't lose a tournament. SGA maybe feeling a little bit on the rough side, but again, all these guys have the ability to be fine plays. If you have a couple guys that just hit value, then that's fine. That's okay. That's what you want. Thad Young, 6,400. Also feels right there on the edge of comfort, so I'm probably just gonna stick with some shots on these guards. I don't want to go get aggressive with Satoransky or Levine for that matter at 9K, but Kobe White feels pretty interesting to me. But I wouldn't exclude those guys from a player pool. What do you guys got on this game before we matriculate on to the next game? Donald says Detroit is so bad, Jokic is going to drop 50. Yeah, Detroit is pretty rough right now, right? Toronto in the chat. What up, Canada? Big game from Lowry tonight. I like that. I think that's, if you're a Raptors fan, that's a game to watch. Other than Marc Gasol, you guys pretty much are 2 full-strength teams going at it. So I really believe that could be a Eastern Conference Finals preview this season. So that's a big game to win. And then, of course, if you're a Bucks fan, you have an excuse if your team loses because they went to overtime last night. What up, Weeb? Jokic got 80 fantasy points, I believe, last game versus Detroit. Whole different team, I would imagine. But, yeah, I think the matchup got better. Slow Money says, one thing I would say about Detroit, they lanky, play hard in the paint for what it's worth. Yeah, Detroit's a mess. Like, whenever teams get like that, like, if you look at the Timberwolves right now, Timberwolves are a different case. They're kind of the same but different, where you just got a group of guys that are just going out there hustling, fighting hard, and surprising people. Detroit, man, they're in a tough spot. Detroit's got a mix of, like, some vets like Derrick Rose that's put in an impossible spot. Then you guys got guys like Christian Wood fighting for a job, essentially, or contracts that, more money, because Christian Wood has upside in this league. So it's a weird situation. Slow Money says no Murray, and I think it went to overtime. It was close. Yep. Sat, White, Archie Diacono, Paul Schroeder, Gallinari. You like all those guys? All right. If OKC blows them out, I'd rather have Noel. I think Noel is a really fun tournament play tonight. On FanDuel, it's hard to give up a center spot. Or is Noel a power forward on FanDuel for no reason at all? Yes, he is. That's interesting. I'm a little bit more receptive to playing Noel on FanDuel now. I just assume they have him at center because he's a center. That's why. I don't know why I would assume that. But yeah, in deep tournaments, man, I love that. Like you play variants when you have 150 lineups, right? Steven Adams rolls an ankle or he gets in foul trouble, the game blows out, or Noel just has 5 blocks in 20 minutes, like he can do, like he just did. So. But I wouldn't put that in like a single entry or anything like short end. So please don't mistake my interest in Noel for anything concrete in short entry. Guys that hit value is not what you want. Not enough. Well, if your whole lineup hits value, maybe, right? You're gonna need some 9Xs, but yeah. Gun love me, love you. Jay Jeezy sub gun just tuning in. Have missed any tier ones? Have I missed any tier ones? I'm tempted to put Serge Ibaka as a tier one. Tempted. We'll see. But I don't think you have. And then Miles Turner's price is gonna get me in so much trouble. So much trouble. AD says FanDuel Center so bad anyway. Looking ahead at FanDuel Center, Jokic, Whiteside. Yeah, it is. Holy crap. That is the most like ridiculous steep cliff to just dive off of. Man, Miles Turner is probably going to be chalk for that regard. There is a freaking 10, 9K, and then we just free fall to the 6 and 5K. So, yeah. Yikes. That's a yikes. Lots of OG tonight. He's probably the guy I'll have the least of out of the Raptors starting five, but it doesn't, like, it's one of those plays I can see in retrospect. And like, oh, yeah, duh, he gets 35 minutes in a tight, high-scoring game. What was I thinking? So I think he's fine. Hit the like button. Man, I appreciate that. Yo, I will donate both my arms. I don't know how Tommy John works, right? They take a ligament from your leg or something, right, and throw it in your arm. You can have everything, bro. I need Severino. That's a tough spot for the Yankees because we're gonna miss a full season of Severino. We're gonna miss a chunk of Paxton, right? So, man, the Yankees might need to go get a pitcher. Jordan Montgomery's back. You might get Domingo Germán halfway through the season, but I don't think that's enough. We might need one more like above average starting pitcher because I don't trust J Happ to be a thing. He looked good in three at bats the other day, but I don't know. Anyway, don't get me started. Let's move on to the next game. Detroit Pistons at the Denver Nuggets. Project starting five for the Pistons: Derrick Rose, Fee McAllister, Tony Snell, Sekou Doumbouya, Thon Maker. And apparently it's his birthday. Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, Will Barton, Paul Millsap, and Nikola Jokic over on the Denver side. Let's go ahead and put Christian Wood and Bruce Brown here on the bench. I'll come through and put all my bench players after the stream for the Vipers and adjust projections and whatnot. We got 214.5 total, 13-point spread in favor of the home team Denver Nuggets. I bet the Derrick Rose slot machine. Usually I like to stay at the slot machine until it pays out, but I'm probably out of there on Derrick Rose, man. Minutes are sus. And I feel like this is a bad matchup. It's on the roads in the altitude. Derrick Rose did get 28 minutes against Portland. That's probably what I would expect from him, but just got 20 fantasy points. So I'm probably out there on Derrick Rose. I probably don't have much front end interest on the Pistons tonight. Christian Wood is 7,300. That just feels like such an uncomfortable click. He's really, really good. He's a point per minute beast. He's a monster. And we've seen guys like Steven Adams go off against the Nuggets front court. So maybe I'm sleeping on him a little bit. But other than that, I'm not there. Bruce Brown's a little intriguing, but I need that 30 plus. And it's just not a consistent click there. So I'll probably be Denver only when it comes to exposure to this game. Will Barton under 6K on both sides. That's worth a tier 3, exposure to, right? And then Jokic 10K. I feel like if you're playing on FanDuel, you might just overpay for some safety. Even on DraftKings, I mean the center position is kind of shallow today. More so on FanDuel. So if I click Jokic and I get 50, cool. Some people aren't ecstatic with 50 at 10.6, but this might be a tiers position on FanDuel where you just win the position. Go out there and get your safe 40, 50 fantasy points. So I'm assuming Jokic can get us that. Maybe he flirts with a triple-double, something like that. And yeah, I think that's pretty self-explanatory playing some Jokic. Do we think this game gets out of control to get super creative with Denver Nuggets bench? I'm probably not. Is there anybody? Let me look at this bench real quick before I completely commit to that. Maybe like Jeremy Grant gets some extra run. I never get Michael Porter right. I know Mason Plumlee's back. I don't think I dumpster dive too much here. So it's Jokic for me out of this game. We got our low total. We got a lopsided spread. That's probably where I'm at. Chat, you guys got any nuggets? Any nuggets within the nuggets? See what I did there? That's great. Sessa's out too with Tommy John. Yeah, Louis Sessa was never really like a factor though. Millsap Joker, maybe a little Barton. Yep. Marquise Chris is the 4th highest price center on FanDuel. What a time to be alive. Brody says, am I wrong to like Mason Plumlee? I thought, I always say giving up the center spot, it's a little weird. Tonight on FanDuel, it might be time to get weird, baby. 14 minutes, the last couple games. We know him long term to be a point per minute plus. Might get extended run today because of a potential blowout. What's the Nuggets schedule looking like? Google. Oh shoot! Don't Google. Turn it off. Let me Google that as I whisper. Nuggets play on Friday, so they're actually off a couple days. So maybe I don't know. Maybe they don't have to feel as obligated to bench their starters and a home game because they do play again in a couple days, so they get some rest, right? I think I'm fading Detroit. Alpha's a classic movie. Yes. Too bad Denver coach not giving Jordan McRae minutes tonight. He can ball. I agree with that. All right, so give me Jokic, chat. I don't. Maybe Svi is sneaky at like near min price on both sides. I'm done with the Pistons, man. It's rough. Give me Jokic, and I feel like it's more of an obligation than anything, right? Jokic just is at the top of a position that's pretty shallow. So if Jokic got 45 tonight, you might still win some tournaments, especially on FanDuel. Moving on to the next game, New Orleans Pelicans at the Los Angeles Lakers. Zion versus LeBron James, man. There's a lot of people hyped about this one. I've talked to random people that don't even watch basketball that are ready for this one. So maybe we'll get some casual spectatorship. Project starting 5 for the Pelicans: Lonzo Ball, Drew Holiday, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, Derek Favors taking on LeBron James, Avery Bradley, Danny Green, Anthony Davis, JaVale McGee. We got 239.5 total. That's an insane total for a Lakers game. 7.5 point spread in favor of the home team Lakers. Lakers off day yesterday. Of course, they had the Kobe Memorial, so probably be a lot of Kobe-ness going on in the crowd, and I think both teams will want to show out. Lonzo back in the Staples Center. We know that there's a little bit of venom there. So I'm willing to take a deeper look at the Pelicans than I normally would, because I normally don't pick on a full strength Lakers team. But if we're being honest with ourselves, like, are we overpaying for Zion here? 8K on DraftKings. I know he's crushing it, right? Like, I was listening to a talk show the other day, and they're like, what does Zion have to do to become the favorite for the Rookie of the Year over John Morant? And people were like, well, he's got to average 30 points a game. And wait a minute, he's starting to put up some 30-point games. So I don't know that this matchup is comparable to like Golden State, Portland. OKC's a tougher matchup, but he's had 3 great matchups in his last 4 games. And this is not a great matchup. So I feel like I'm paying for ceiling. I know that the sentence could have an asterisk, and there's still the jury's out. But against the Lakers, I'm willing to gamble that I don't get crushed for fading AK guy, right? Brandon Ingram, I feel a little bit more at 6,800 on DraftKings, right? I feel a little bit more receptive to that. I don't know. I'm kind of awkward on these DraftKings prices on the Pelicans chat. If you guys have like a favorite Pelican, let me know. But I'm certainly not warm and fuzzy on anyone here. On the Lakers side, though, LeBron James, I think he's going to be somewhat easy to fit on both sides. Looks like some of my favorite centers tonight are going to be 5-6K area centers, guys like Adams, guys like Serge Ibaka, Miles Turner. So I can go out there and maybe get 2 10K players, right? Is it going to be that impossible to get like a Giannis and LeBron tonight? Gives me 46 per. If I find, I might be pinching it. Yeah, that's probably a bad example. But on FanDuel, it's obviously going to be way easier, right, to double stack the top 2 tight ends, the top 2 small forwards. Why on earth would I say tight ends? 54, 57 per? Yeah, I'll probably try and do a lot of lineups like that. So we'll see. Let's look at the live chat. So does that mean Zion will be chalk? He's AK. You think he goes off? I don't think he'll be chalk. I think the field is pretty sharp these days, right? I don't think AK anybody is chalk against the Lakers if we're talking front courts. But it should be fun to watch. Like I haven't been excited to watch a game from a fan standpoint in a while. But I'm interested in this one. It's a couple good games tonight, right? I'll watch the Bucks and Raptors. I wish the Bucks, I wish both teams were on or fresh legged. But Pelican, just to see how the rookie does against the vets. I always love that story in the league, right? Future versus now. Lonzo Ball might be a good play. So FanDuel 6,500. I'm a little bit more open to that, but I don't hate Lonzo. I do think he gives us enough peripherals in a fast-paced, high-total game that I'd take some shots on him. I mean, you look at the Golden State game, he made one field goal, and he still almost got us. He got us over a point per minute, right? He's doing enough of everything that I'm a buyer. I'm in on that. Steals and blocks are an important part of his high upside games. The Lakers, do we expect the Lakers to come out sloppy? Probably not, but I don't mind Lonzo because I don't think he's scoring dependent. I definitely think right now it feels like AK Zion's going to need near 30 real points, and I don't know that I'm going to bank on him doing that against one of the best front courts defensively in the league. So I'm probably not. So I probably look at maybe a guy like Drew Holiday maybe get sneaky, and then Brandon Ingram. So I don't know. Do we think the Pelicans stay in here? I think the Pelicans have been on a nice little stretch lately where they're looking good. They're like, this is a full starting unit here, and then you bring out maybe like a JJ Redick or somebody like that to show up and show out off the bench. So I think they keep it competitive. I don't think necessarily that it's going to be a nail biter down to the wire. But I don't feel like I'm getting an extremely great deal on any Pelican on essentially either site. Lonzo feels like on FanDuel I can justify that, but like everyone else just feels like they're priced to where they. I don't want to say ceiling, but it feels like we might be getting some ceiling prices on a lot of these guys. Ingram does have some wiggle room on DraftKings. I could see 40 plus there, but I just don't feel like anyone is a must play pre-flop considering the matchup. And then AD. They mentioned AD with 10.3K on DraftKings. Anthony Davis scared a lot of people last game going down early. But what else is new? It seems like every night AD goes to the locker room, but he finishes the game and crushes it. 39 minutes against Boston, 56 fantasy points. He hasn't given you less than 56 in 4 games, and in that game was a 25-point blowout against the Phoenix Suns. So a little bit of revenge narrative for him. 2 games against the Pelicans, averaging almost 70 fantasy points. So AD's in a crush spot as well. Do we like any other Lakers here? Would you take a shot on Kyle Kuzma, Rajon Rondo, anybody like that? Maybe in deep tournaments, right? Bradley, Danny Green, KCP, all those guys are just so volatile. If you guys thought it could blow out, like that is a range of outcome. Maybe a Dwight Howard or somebody like that comes in and becomes a really solid play on a night that, FanDuel, you might just have to get really weird at center. If you threw in a Dwight Howard at 4,200, would that get you, a good start? 15, over a point per minute, basically. So, let's go look at the live chat. See what you guys got. Brody says, I think AD's going to take Zion to school tonight. Definitely going to be fun. You guys seen that clip the other night? Carmelo Anthony gave Zion that jab step and then shot over him. Like, I'm looking for some of that. Welcome to the league stuff. Yeah, I mean, almost beat my Blazers, the Pistons. Yikes. Yo, the Blaze. I don't want to hate on the Blazers, but I think the Blazers are one of the more. I don't want to say overrated because I don't think none of us are rating them highly, but I think they're one of the most underperforming teams in the league this year, in my estimation. Have a line with AD and Joker. I like that. We got 70 plus people in here. Let's get yeah, man. If you want to hit that like button, man, I appreciate it. Ryan Solo, Ryan Bartley in the chat. Josh Trainham. What's up, guys? What about Kuzma? 4,400, man. He's a wild card. I think I probably want high 20s, maybe 30 out of him. It is a range of outcomes. Maybe not a common range. Like I think he's just a wild card filler, right? I'm not gonna tell you to play him in cash, and if you gave me a tournament lineup with him, I wouldn't look you away. I don't like him on FanDuel as much because I don't think I like the power forward spot tonight. I do. Just remembering, I like AD. Obviously, we're gonna talk about Tatum in a minute. Sabonis is in a great spot, 8,300. I don't see how many times would I play Zion over Sabonis tonight. I probably don't think many. I'm going some bonus almost every time. I love Ibaka, points per dollar matchup. Love him in fast-paced games. And then if we went really, really down here, I'd rather probably take a shot on Noel over Kuzma just because Noel's such a engine. So I don't know. I probably don't get to a lot of Kuzma. I probably don't have Kuzma. Full on transparency there. No Kuzma for me. Anything else for me? Rondo could be sneaky. Isn't there a revenge game? Yeah, Rondo revenge against half the slate. Name one core play. If I can help it, my core is usually cheap, like between 5 and 8K guys that I think have a lot of wiggle room. Now there are exceptions, like last night where I had 80% Joel Embiid. But for the most part, I like to grab the high floor to ceiling ratio guys. So I'm really thinking Serge Ibaka might be on the edge of corness for me. And then maybe a guy like Lowry or somebody in the mid tier there. But we have a couple more games, so that might change. Next game on the docket: Boston Celtics at the Portland Trailblazers. Project 35 for the Celtics. Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Gordon Hayward, Daniel Tice taking on C.J. McCollum, Gary Trent Jr., Trevor Ariza, Carmelo Anthony, Hassan Whiteside. We got 223 total here. 7.5 point spread in favor of the visiting Boston Celtics. Let's go ahead and take a pause for the cause. Let's go run an on-off court tool here for the Celtics. Tend to do this every time Kemba Walker's out. Just want to see if numbers are fluctuating at all. And basically all we're going to do is take Kemba Walker off the court. This, by the way, a free tool by the completely unaffiliated Roto Wire. And let's put Marcus Smart on. Let's put Tatum and Brown on. Those are the only three I really care about. So, Jaylen Brown, I guess Hayward. Yeah, let's put Hayward too. I wish you could click more than one guy at the time, though. I do feel like it's an outdated feature that they should be able to add. And Gordon Hayward. So, let's put those four on. Let's take Kemba off. Let's run it back. Take a sip of that black cherry vanilla bang. Exclamation point bang in the Twitch chat. 27% usage here for Jason Tatum, 132 minutes of sample size, averaging 1.3 fantasy points per minute on both FanDuel and DraftKings in the absence of Kemba Walker. So let's quantify that. Last 10 games without Kemba Walker, he's given us 57, 53, 62, 45, 40, 50. So that's 5 or 6 games here of well over 40 fantasy points. He is almost 9K on DraftKings, almost 9K on FanDuel. He's in that small forward spot, ain't he? No, he's power forward. Yeah, power forward becomes the most stacked position tonight in my estimation. So great spot for him. The Portland Trailblazers front court really, really bad. They allow the second most fantasy points per game to opposing power forwards. They're really bad against centers. It's just a bad defense. So Jason Tatum's in a really, really good spot to continue this little stretch. Celtics starters, kind of like the Raptors, really high predictive value in minute projections. I got 36 for Smart, 36 for Brown, 37 for Tatum, 38 for Hayward. So this becomes a stackable team in this game. A medium total, a poor defense. Smart could get there, Brown could get there, Tatum, Hayward, they could all get there. I always feel like not all three will coexist in a perfect world for tournaments. So maybe I cap more of 2 of 3 or even 3 of 4. But Jason Tatum's got to be the top guy at the totem pole. The question mark here is, are we happy if he just got us 40 fantasy points, 40 to 45 at 8,800? Will that be enough at the end of the night? I think most nights it's not a big factor, but I think tonight could be different just because of how awkward the slate just seems to be priced, right? And then Gordon Hayward on DraftKings is a giant question. 7,400 on DraftKings, 66 on FanDuel. I can see myself having a lot more Hayward on FanDuel. If we go back to that on-off court tool, Hayward is averaging just under a fantasy point per minute. And if we're going to give him 38 minutes, I could round that to 35 fantasy points and 6,600 on FanDuel. I'm willing to take the plunge on that. So, big time matchup here for all the Celtics. Marcus Smart, fit 5'3" on FanDuel, shooting guard. We haven't really identified a whole lot of shooting guards to load up on. Obviously, we're about to talk about McCollum, who's at a really, really tough price. But man, Marcus Smart just fits in the can he kill me at 5'3" tonight? 35 minutes, will I get 30 fantasy points? Probably. So I just think he'll by default be a pretty trendy play. So all the Celtics in play. It is Cantor revenge game, if that's your cup of tea. If you guys want a piece of that, he is 3,300 on DraftKings. I got him for 6 minutes right now. I'm probably not dumpster diving on the Celtics bench too much. On the Blazers side, CJ McCollum is the biggest question of the night. Just came off a huge game where he dropped, 70 fantasy points, 71 on FanDuel, 41 real points, 12 assists, almost had a trip dub. That's the Detroit Pistons. Kind of feel like Zion here, right? Where McCollum's had a couple of great matchups without Damian Lillard. Heck, his last 4 matchups are some of the better matchups in the league. The Pelicans, Memphis, Pelicans again, and then Detroit, and that dumpster fire that they got going on right now. Is it a bold call to say I might be out on McCollum, right? Like if I look at ownership projections close to lock and McCollum still got a lot of traction to him, it might be one of those guys where I just leverage the field against themselves here and just full fade one of their 40% guys. And I think 8,500 for McCollum on FanDuel, I think there's enough range of outcomes where that could not kill me. Do I think he drops 72 DKP and a triple-double against the Celtics? I probably don't. So I'm willing to be the low man on McCollum tonight. But let's go see how he's done in his last 10 games without Damian Lillard. I feel like all these queries I've already searched. Oof, man. There's some good numbers in here. There are. But all great, not I want to say great matchups, but right, none of these are really, really tough matchups. Detroit, Pelicans, Bucks, fast-paced matchup. Pelicans again, the Hawks, the Rockets, the Grizzlies. Then there's the Thunder, probably more comparable to the Celtics, 43 fantasy points. Then there's the Spurs, that's from 2018, so their defense wasn't as much of a dumpster fire last season or 2 seasons ago. No, yeah, last season. I'm on the fence, chat. I'm curious to see where you guys are at. Are you in or out on 8,500 FanDuel McCollum against the Celtics? And then on DraftKings, McCollum is 9K. At what point does the field turn on McCollum and then it becomes contrarian to play him? Like, this feels like a Bradley Beal spot. Or Beal's at 9K, he's not getting ownership. And then he drops 50 real points. I kind of want to be the opposite side of the field here. So that might be the guy I'm paying the most attention to for ownership projections, right? Looking at the live chat. West Coast says, would you play Dame at 9K? Would I play Dame at 9K today against the Celtics? And that's not just like that's not an isolated decision either. That's like, do I like if I pay 9K for McCollum, that's gonna make it harder to fit in that 11-6 Giannis and LeBrons and the Jokic and stuff like that, who I don't feel as strung out decision wise on that. So this is just me thinking out loud. I don't want to sway. If you guys had your McCollum decision made already, please do not let me sway you one way or the other. I'm just thinking out loud for my own personal lineup construction tonight. I feel like if I took an ownership projections out of the equation, I'd probably tier 3 McCollum just at a principle of him having an opportunity without Damian Lillard. But then I feel like if I tier 3 McCollum, I might be under the field. But I'm curious to see where the field is at. Because I also, like I said, I think the field is sharp. I think you guys are a great sample size of the field. If a lot of you guys are out on McCollum, then I could see him not being extremely high owned by the field. So there's that. West Coast Gem says CJ won't be high owned at that price. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking here. Marcus Smart has that good D. He got that good D. Brody says, give me Buddy, Fred VanVleet, Smart, or someone along those lines. Don't disagree. Cross says Sabonis might be under-owned. It could put up 50 or 60. Agree with that. Completely agree with that. Mr. Shadow Dog in the chat. Gun always wins because he drinks vanilla cherry bang. Black cherry vanilla bang, bro. Black cherry vanilla. Yo, fun story. I had a match on Saturday, right? I'm in the locker room drinking my bang. I look up, and there was no less than 10 other wrestlers drinking their bangs, and I just felt like I belonged. I never felt so happy to see so much bang. Other than when it's in my fridge. Anyway, Whiteside or Jokic? Ooh, all right. Let's talk about Whiteside, though. So if we're going to be down on McCollum, do we up our exposure to other Blazers players, or do we think the Blazers are in a big-time letdown spot? And that's a group question. So let's go pull up the Blazers here, because I'm curious to see how they've done overall. Let's take Lillard off the court. Let's put CJ McMahon. Yes, sir, Mr. McMahon. CJ McCollum on the court. As soon as we can find him, because we don't know how the alphabet works. Put Whiteside on the court. And I guess we put Melo, right? Melo. And we'll run it. Wrestlers were bang, bro. Whoa, buddy. This is a family DFS stream, sir. God, I love that all you guys make the same joke. 31% usage for McCollum, 30% usage for Carmelo. And then Whiteside. My favorite stat about Whiteside, 104 minutes on the court without Damian Lillard and with Melo and McCollum, averaging 1.5 fantasy point per minute. That's nuts. So we'll definitely take some of that. And now the question of Whiteside versus Jokic becomes a tougher question. What the freak? Hey, hot mic here, buddy. Vamonos. Appreciate you. 9,200 for Whiteside in a grand scheme. Hey, buddy. Hey, my goodness. She's not going anywhere. Go. In the grand scheme of things, $10K. That's a $800 difference in price. $800 discount on DraftKings. 38 minutes. Would you rather play a double digit, and I know he's 7-point underdog, but I feel like I'd rather play the underdog than the... No, I don't know. I feel like that's not a correct statement. How's the last couple centers against the Celtics? Let me pull this up. Last couple centers against Boston. JaVale McGee doesn't count. We know AD went nuts. Naz Reid had 38 DKP in 33 minutes, so that might be a great indication. He shot 7 for 15, 9 rebounds. That's about what I'd expect out of Whiteside, right? 15 shot attempts, and probably 15 plus rebounds. So maybe Whiteside gets an even bigger bump if we start discrediting CJ McCollum. And then Melo, how brave, how aggressive. Where's the line between aggressiveness and braveness when it comes to Carmelo Anthony exposure? 6K, I would love the north side of 30. It's not really the wheelhouse for him in terms of like average fantasy points, right? But does have a 30% usage rate. 41-31 his last two games. Both plus matchups. He's probably not getting 37 minutes here. I'm not in love with it. I think I'd take Whiteside and I put him as a tier 2. And because of the way FanDuel's set up, both Whiteside and Jokic are probably over-owned versus a slate where we have more than 2 options to pay up for. I got Whiteside as my number 1 Blazer. And then all the Celtics. We literally play all the Celtics and we'll be all right? Gun, can you speak Spanish, and have you seen Narcos Mexico yet? Muy poquito, no mucho. And no, I haven't seen Narcos. I don't know. Is Narcos a TV show? I'm really bad at TV shows. I don't want to expose myself, but I've never seen Game of Thrones. I've never watched Star Wars. I've never watched Breaking Bad. Those are 3 big ones I always get crucified for. Noodle. All right, let's move on to the main event. For that, take a pause for the cause. Let you guys know immediately following the stream, I'll be in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord. talking it up with the Vipers, and I'm sure I'm going to be getting all kinds of Bang Bro jokes. So if you guys want to be in on that funness, go to rundfs.com, make yourself an account, and go check out the VIP passes. I forgot to take down the All-Star Break pass, so I need to do that. So I guess since we're on the air, I'll leave that up, and I got to edit on the main page. So today, right now, is the last day to get the All-Star Break pass. That'll get you locked in until the baseball All-Star break. But we have week passes up. We got 2-week passes and month passes. If you guys want daily access to the rundfs.com VIP spreadsheets, the VIP discords, and then, of course, weekend access to NASCAR content, and then just overall daily voice chats and all that good stuff. They're out there grinding spring training baseball right now. They play tennis. They do all the sports. I cover baseball, basketball, and that's it for now, right? That's just all I got to do for now. So it's easy. So if you want to support the stream, support the site, and get a little something in return, and plant yourself in a really, really fun community, fraternal-like community, go to rundfs.com. Get yourself a VIP pass. Main event tonight, Sacramento Kings at the Golden State Warriors. Project 35 for the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Harrison Barnes, Nemanja Bjelica, Harry Giles taking on Jordan Poole, Damian Lee, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and Marquise Chris. We got a 223 total, 6.5 point spread in favor of the visiting Sacramento Kings. So I like this game, right? Sacramento is usually in a really, really slow-paced game. Why? Well, because they're the slowest-paced team in all of basketball. Golden State, a little bit faster and much sloppier defense. Golden State, much closer to the league average than slow. So it's a couple extra possessions here for guys like De'Aaron Fox, who is a walking triple-double threat. He's 7,600. If De'Aaron Fox and if you had the difference, right, in a util spot tonight, would you go Zion Williamson or De'Aaron Fox? And again, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer right now. I'm just thinking out loud. If I'm considering matchups, I think I like De'Aaron Fox more than Zion. So in a util spot, I usually go big over guard. I might go guard over big here if it is a Fox versus Zion situation. So I love that spot for Zion. Bogdan Bogdanovic is attainable on FanDuel. I don't feel like I have to push the issue on anyone in particular. Harrison Barnes is one of those Mr. Minutes, and do we will our way to 30 fantasy points? I think so. Bjelica, same song and dance. And then do we look at Buddy Hield off the bench for the Sacramento Kings? I think we do. Golden State Warriors really, really bad at defending the three ball. I know it's so hard to put consistency in their metrics just because of how different that team's been all year. But statistically, they've been the worst team at defending the three ball. And Buddy Hield's a guy that's going to go out there and chuck some three balls. Say 600 on DraftKings. Can I get 40 fantasy points in a tournament out of him? Could I do that? 2 3 balls in 15 minutes against the Clippers. We're looking for the 30-minute games, right? 6, 12, 7. Has he faced Golden State? He has 2 games against Golden State this season, 34 fantasy points. Not a lock by any stretch, but somebody that I could put in my back pocket for maybe like a late-night hammer guy that just gets hot from downtown. On the Warrior side, Wiggins is almost AK. I don't have warm and fuzzies on that one. You guys know I've been kind of soft on Wiggins when he's on this new team. Couple of his big games so far this season have come, or excuse me, a couple of his big games with the Warriors have come on the back of big steals in peripheral games, 4 blocks, 2 steals against Phoenix, and then he probably is going to need to give you well over 20 real points to be a really, really strong play at almost 8K. But against Sacramento, hey, maybe he gets it done. I just don't have the warmer fuzzies on Wiggins here. In chat, Ernest says, isn't Draymond questionable? I want to play that Toscano guy. Yeah, so Juan Toscano Anderson, which we've joked about his name being just such a beautiful name. He has been an extremely efficient point per minute producer. In his last 2 games, he's exceeded 30 fantasy points on both sides. If Draymond is out or in, I really think we may not have clarity on the Draymond status by lock for sure. So if you wanted some of Juan Toscano, you might be late swapping his way. But yeah, I don't know. Draymond Green, pelvis is questionable. He sat out Sunday's game and did not participate in Monday's practice. He won't really be able to test himself until shoot around. If he's out again, Eric Pascal will get another start, and Juan Toscano Anderson could be flirting with 30 minutes. So if you just wanted to take that gamble here, especially for FanDuel, that Draymond sits, there's no really incentive to push Draymond past anything that he needs to be doing. Might be a bump for Toscano and take some gambles on that. And then Eric Pascal let a lot of people down that last game. 31 minutes against the Pelicans, just 20 fantasy points. But I think on the season he's averaging closer to 30 fantasy points without Draymond Green in the lineup, so this might be a matchup for him to bounce back. He has 5K, so I need that 30, but I can see a lot of people, touch the stove, they burn themselves, they want to go back, but it's very, very plausible for him to be a strong play tonight. Marquise Chris, dealing with a left calf injury, is questionable as well. He also sat out Monday's practice, and yeah, so I don't have a status on him. If he were to be out, Kevin Looney might play, might start, and then another big bump for Pascal. So Pascal would get the same boost that he had last game where Draymond and Chris were out. Those minutes would be his to lose in my estimation. So it could be a great bounce back spot for Eric Pascal. Damian Lee, Jordan Poole, guys that I would maybe spin the wheel on and 100K to first. I don't have front end interest. I do like that call on Juan Toscano Anderson though. I might gamble with that, and if it burns me, it burns me. But I like the viability of that at that price point pre-flop. Just a 6.5 point spread, by the way, in favor of the Kings. So I like several Kings here. What do you guys got in the live chat? Before I gotta rush out of here, I'm running about 15 minutes over. Heard Game of Thrones has a ton of... Okay, buddy. Netflix, bro. I have Netflix. I just don't have time. Somehow I keep getting Buddy and Barnes in my lineup. I never want to get too aggressive with Buddy Hield. I do like Harrison Barnes, though. This stream run me long. Okay, buddy. Like Kent Bazemore at his price. What up, Hector? Isn't Drain up? Need Green out so I can play Juan Toscano. Again, I don't think you're going to have definitive Draymond Green status by main slate lock. So I think you guys should just kind of make that decision now. And you just have to gut it out. And maybe on DraftKings, if you wanted to, have an alternate... What is he? Small forward, power forward, 4,100. I mean, maybe that's your Nerlens Noel safety blanket. No, he's a center only. Difference in price too, 4,400. Maybe you could put him in and like global swap to Kent Bazemore or something in the small forward spot. If you wanted to take advantage of like late swap or something like that, was it 4,100 for Toscano, 4,300 for Bazemore? So I'd probably make my lineups with Bazemore. And then if I saw Draymond out, I could global swap to Toscano in the small forward spot. That'd probably just be my little way of playing that, right? JGZ says GPP on FanDuel. Who's your two favorite power forwards on FanDuel? Oof. So man, I really love points per dollar Ibaka. Jason Tatum has a real shot at 60 fantasy points tonight. Domantas Sabonis also. I'm worried about Sabonis being on the wrong side of a blowout. That could be a problem. Tatum, Sabonis, Ibaka are probably the three guys I'll have the most of. So I give you three. That's kind of a cop-out answer. Ernest says, thanks for hanging out with us real quick. I appreciate you appreciating me. What is tomorrow's schedule looking like? Try and give you guys a airtime. By the way, if you're on YouTube, before you hit the door, man, would you hit that thumbs up? Would you hit that thumbs up? Show me some love. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 games tomorrow. So we're going to try and start this party at 3. We're going to try. Just make sure you guys are following me on Twitter. Twitter.com/GundeckerSports, and I'll keep you updated. Anyway, I appreciate words, English. those are things. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, making part of my day be part of your day. I'm going to be immediately in the RunDFS.com VIP voice chat. You guys come be part of that right now. Go to RunDFS.com, get yourself a week pass, get signed up, try it out, and then go open up that Discord, click that voice chat, and that'll get you in there, man. I hope you guys crush it tonight. Tag me in all those screenshots, and we'll have some fun. I'll see you guys on the flip side. I love each and every one of you. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.